There comes a moment in every life when the world stands still and you hear the echo of your own heartbeat pounding in your chest. It's the moment you realize that history is not written by the timid, nor is destiny handed to the meek. The world you see around you, its towers, its fortunes, its legends, was built by those who refused to kneel. They chose to build the empire, not serve in one. And now the question is not what you will do with your life, but what you will demand of it. Look around. Every city skyline, every innovation, every revolution in thought and industry, these are monuments to the relentless, the bold, the unyielding. Edison burning through 1,000 failures to bring light to the world. Carnegie rising from poverty to shape the steel backbone of a nation. Disney dismissed and doubted, conjuring worlds from the dust of his imagination. Lincoln battered by defeat, forging unity from the chaos of division. Ford, who saw not just a car but a new way of life. Obama, who dared to believe in hope when cynicism was the easier path. Napoleon Hill, who distilled the secrets of achievement for generations to come. These names are not just history, they are blueprints. They are proof that greatness is not inherited, it is seized. But before you can build, you must believe. Not in the world as it is, but in the world as it could be if only you had the courage to shape it. Mindset is the foundation of every empire. It is the steel in your spine when the world tries to bend you. It is the fire in your gut when the night is long and the odds are stacked. The world will tell you to be realistic, to play it safe, to accept your place. But the empire builder knows that reality is negotiable, that the only limits that matter are the ones you accept. You must see yourself not as a pawn, but as a king. Not as a spectator, but as a player. The difference between those who build and those who serve is not talent, not luck, not even opportunity. It is the refusal to settle, the willingness to risk comfort for greatness. The empire builder wakes up every morning with a single question: what am I building today? And the answer is never small. Clarity is your compass. Without it, you are a ship lost at sea, tossed by every wave of opinion and circumstance. With it, you become a force of nature. You know where you are going, and you know why. The world is full of noise, distractions, doubts, the endless chatter of the mediocre, but clarity cuts through the fog. It is the vision that keeps you moving when others quit. It is the blueprint that turns dreams into plans, and plans into reality. Purpose is the engine. It is the reason you rise before dawn and work long after the world has gone to sleep. It is the why that makes the how possible. Without purpose, even the greatest talent is wasted. With it, even the smallest step becomes a march toward destiny. The empire builder does not chase applause or approval. He is driven by something deeper, a mission, a calling, a sense that his life is meant for more than mere existence. Discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. It is the daily grind, the relentless pursuit of excellence, the refusal to cut corners. The world is full of dreamers, but the empire is built by doers, by those who show up day after day when the excitement has faded and only the work remains. Discipline is not glamorous. It is not celebrated, but it is the secret ingredient in every story of success. It is the reason some rise while others fall. Action is the currency of progress. Ideas are cheap. Talk is cheaper. The empire builder knows that nothing happens until you move, until you take the first step, make the first call, write the first line, lay the first brick. Action is messy, it is uncomfortable, it is full of risk and uncertainty, but it is the only way forward. The world rewards those who act, not those who wait. Every empire began as a single act of courage, a decision to begin, to try, to dare. Gratitude is the antidote to entitlement. It is the recognition that every opportunity, every challenge, every setback is a gift. The empire builder is not bitter about what he lacks. He is grateful for what he has and he uses it. Gratitude turns obstacles into stepping stones, failures into lessons, setbacks into comebacks. It is the fuel that keeps you moving when the world seems unfair. Because the truth is, the world owes you nothing, but you owe yourself everything. Adaptability is the art of survival. The world changes, markets shift, fortunes rise and fall. The empire builder is not rigid. He is not afraid to pivot, to reinvent, to start over if necessary. He learns from every defeat, every mistake, every unexpected turn. Adaptability is not weakness, it is strength. It is the ability to bend without breaking, to evolve without losing your core. The greatest empires endure because they adapted. They are not monuments, they are living, breathing, growing forces. Resilience is the armor. It is the ability to take a punch and keep moving, to face rejection, ridicule, failure, and rise again. The empire builder is not immune to pain. He is not untouched by loss, but he refuses to be defined by it. Every setback is a test, every defeat is a lesson. Resilience is the difference between those who quit and those who conquer. It is the refusal to let the world write your story. Leadership is the crown. It is not about power or control. It is about vision, influence, and service. The empire builder leads by example. He inspires others to believe, to act, to rise. He does not demand loyalty, he earns it. He does not seek followers, he creates leaders. Leadership is the ability to see what others cannot, to do what others will not, to become what others only dream of. It is the highest calling, the greatest responsibility.
Learning is the secret weapon. The empire builder is never finished. He is always growing, always seeking, always hungry for more. He reads, he listens, he studies. He learns from everyone, friends, enemies, strangers. He knows that the world is a classroom, and every day is a lesson. The greatest empires are built not on arrogance but on curiosity, not on certainty but on the willingness to learn.
And so the choice is yours. Will you build the empire or serve in one? Will you accept the world as it is or shape it as it could be? Will you settle for comfort or reach for greatness? The world is waiting. Your moment is now. The only question that matters is, what will you build? The empire is not built in a day, nor is it built in silence. It is forged in the crucible of adversity, hammered by the blows of doubt and fear, and polished by the relentless pursuit of something greater. Every brick is laid with intention, every stone set with vision. The world will try to distract you, to seduce you with comfort, to lull you into complacency. But the empire builder knows that comfort is the enemy of progress. He welcomes discomfort, for it is the sign that he is growing, stretching, becoming more than he was yesterday. Think of the greats, those who refuse to be ordinary. Thomas Edison, working by candlelight, his fingers stained with the residue of 1,000 failed experiments. He did not curse the darkness. He became the light. Andrew Carnegie, a boy in a factory, dreaming of steel and skyscrapers, refusing to let his circumstances define his destiny. Walt Disney, fired for lacking imagination yet daring to dream in color when the world was still black and white. Abraham Lincoln, mocked and maligned yet standing tall in the storm, holding a fractured nation together with nothing but words and will. These men were not born to serve, they were born to build. But building is not for the faint of heart. It demands sacrifice. It demands that you give up the trivial for the tremendous, the easy for the extraordinary. The empire builder is not afraid to pay the price. He knows that every late night, every early morning, every moment of doubt is an investment in his future. He does not count the cost, he counts the reward. He understands that the pain of discipline is always less than the pain of regret. Vision is the architect of destiny. It is the ability to see what does not yet exist, to imagine a future so vivid, so compelling, that it pulls you forward through every obstacle. The empire builder does not wait for permission to dream. He does not ask the world if his vision is possible. He declares it and then he makes it real. Vision is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Without it, you are building castles in the sand, destined to be washed away by the tides of mediocrity. Purpose gives you the strength to endure. When the world says no, when the doors slam shut, when the path grows dark, purpose is the light that guides you. It is the reason you keep going when others turn back. The empire builder is not motivated by money alone. He is driven by a sense of mission, a belief that his work matters, that his life is a message to the world. He knows that true wealth is not measured in dollars, but in the impact you leave behind. Discipline is the daily decision to do what must be done, even when you do not feel like it. It is the refusal to be ruled by your moods, your fears, your excuses. The empire builder does not wait for inspiration, he creates it. He shows up, rain or shine, ready to do the work. He understands that greatness is not a single act, but a habit, a way of life. Discipline is the difference between wishing and winning, between hoping and having. Action is the antidote to fear. The world is full of people who talk, who plan, who dream. But only those who act make history. The empire builder is not afraid to fail because he knows that failure is not the end. It is the beginning. Every setback is a lesson, every mistake a stepping stone. He moves forward, always forward, knowing that progress is made one step at a time. Action is the bridge between the world as it is and the world as it could be. Gratitude is the foundation of abundance. The empire builder is not blinded by what he lacks, he is empowered by what he has. He sees every challenge as an opportunity, every obstacle as a gift. He knows that the world owes him nothing, and yet he is grateful for everything. Gratitude turns scarcity into sufficiency, fear into faith, doubt into determination. It is the secret weapon of the unstoppable. Adaptability is the mark of the master. The world is in constant motion, and those who cling to the past are left behind. The empire builder is not afraid to change, to evolve, to reinvent himself. He learns from every experience, every failure, every success. He is not defined by what he has done, but by what he is willing to do next. Adaptability is the key to longevity, the secret to staying relevant in a world that never stops moving. Resilience is the shield that protects the dream. The empire builder is not immune to pain, to loss, to disappointment, but he refuses to be broken. He rises again and again, stronger each time. He knows that every storm will pass, that every night will end, that every wound will heal. Resilience is not just the ability to endure, it is the determination to thrive, to turn every trial into triumph. Leadership is the art of influence. The empire builder does not lead by force, but by example. He inspires others to believe, to act, to rise. He does not seek followers. He creates leaders. He knows that true power is not in commanding others, but in empowering them. Leadership is the legacy of the empire builder, the mark he leaves on the world. Learning is the fuel of the future. The empire builder is never satisfied, never complacent. He is always seeking, always growing, always hungry for more. He reads, he listens, he asks questions. He learns from everyone, friends, enemies, strangers. He knows that the world is a classroom, and every day is a lesson. The greatest empires are built not on arrogance, but on curiosity, not on certainty, but on the willingness to learn. And so, the choice remains: will you build the empire or serve in one? Will you accept the world as it is, or shape it as it could be? Will you settle for comfort or reach for greatness? The world is waiting. Your moment is now. The only question that matters is, what will you build? The empire builder knows that every day is a referendum on his resolve. The sun rises not as a guarantee, but as a challenge, a reminder that yesterday's victories are already history and today demands new courage. The world does not care about your intentions, your dreams, or your excuses. It only responds to your results. This is the hard truth that separates the architects of destiny from the tenants of mediocrity. You must wake up each morning with the hunger of a lion, the focus of a hawk, and the heart of a champion. You must look in the mirror and see not just who you are, but who you are becoming. There is no room for self-pity in the empire builder's mind. There is no time for blame, for bitterness, for the poison of resentment. The world is not fair, and it never will be. But fairness is not the currency of greatness. Results are. The empire builder takes responsibility for everything in his life. He does not wait for rescue, for luck, for the world to change. He becomes the change. He becomes the storm that reshapes the landscape. He knows that the only way to predict the future is to create it. Think of the titans who came before you. Carnegie, who saw opportunity in the smoke and fire of the steel mills. Ford, who looked at a world of horses and buggies and saw highways stretching to the horizon. Disney, who stared at a blank canvas and saw castles, kingdoms, and dreams that would outlive him. Lincoln, who faced a nation torn in two and saw unity where others saw only division. Obama, who stood on the steps of history and dared to speak of hope. These men were not handed their empires. They built them brick by brick, day by day, in the face of every imaginable obstacle. You must become relentless. You must become immune to the opinions of the small-minded, the doubters, the critics who have never built anything but excuses. The empire builder listens only to the voice within, the voice that says, keep going, you are not finished. There is more to do. He knows that the world will try to distract him, to tempt him with comfort, to seduce him with the easy path. But he is not interested in easy, he is interested in legacy. Clarity is not a one-time revelation, it is a daily discipline. The empire builder revisits his vision every morning, sharpening it, refining it, making it more real with every breath. He writes it down, speaks it aloud, lives it in every action. He knows that a vague dream produces vague results, but a clear vision is unstoppable. He does not allow the fog of uncertainty to cloud his purpose. He cuts through it with the blade of intention. Purpose is not found, it is forged. It is hammered out on the anvil of adversity, shaped by the fires of failure and the winds of doubt. The empire builder does not wait for purpose to appear. He creates it, one decision at a time. He asks himself, what am I willing to fight for? What am I willing to sacrifice for? What am I willing to become? And then he answers with his life. Discipline is the silent partner of greatness. It is the unseen force that turns dreams into reality. The empire builder does not rely on motivation, for he knows that motivation is fleeting. He relies on discipline, the unbreakable habit of doing what must be done no matter how he feels. He builds routines, systems, rituals that keep him moving forward when the world tries to pull him back. He knows that every day is a brick and every brick matters. Action is the great separator. The world is full of thinkers, planners, dreamers, but only the doers build empires. The empire builder is not afraid to act, to risk, to fail. He knows that every action, no matter how small, is a step toward his destiny. He does not wait for perfect conditions, for certainty, for guarantees. He moves, and the world moves with him. He understands that progress is made in the doing, not the dreaming. Gratitude is the antidote to entitlement. The empire builder is grateful for every challenge, every setback, every failure. He knows that these are the raw materials of greatness. He does not complain about what he lacks. He leverages what he has. He turns obstacles into opportunities, pain into power, loss into lessons. Gratitude is the fuel that keeps him moving when the world says stop. Adaptability is a secret to survival. The empire builder is not rigid, not stubborn, not afraid to change. He knows that the world is in constant motion and he must move with it. He learns, he pivots, he reinvents himself as many times as necessary. He is not attached to the past, he is committed to the future. Adaptability is not weakness, it is the ultimate strength. Resilience is the armor that protects the dream. The empire builder is knocked down but never knocked out. He faces rejection, ridicule, failure, but he rises again and again. He knows that every setback is a setup for a comeback. He refuses to be defined by defeat. He uses pain as a teacher, loss as a motivator, failure as a stepping stone. Resilience is the difference between those who quit and those who conquer. Leadership is the legacy. The empire builder leads not by command but by example. He inspires others to believe, to act, to rise. He does not seek followers, he creates leaders. He knows that true power is not in controlling others, but in empowering them. Leadership is the mark he leaves on the world, the ripple that becomes a wave. Learning is the edge. The empire builder is never finished, never satisfied, never complacent. He is always seeking, always growing, always hungry for more. He reads, he listens, he asks questions. He learns from everyone, friends, enemies, strangers. He knows that the world is a classroom and every day is a lesson. The greatest empires are built not on arrogance, but on curiosity, not on certainty, but on the willingness to learn. And so the question remains, will you build the empire or serve in one? Will you accept the world as it is or shape it as it could be? Will you settle for comfort or reach for greatness? The world is waiting. Your moment is now. The only question that matters is, what will you build? The empire builder understands that every empire, every legacy begins with a single unshakable belief that you are worthy of more. Not because the world has given you permission, but because you have given yourself permission. This is the spark that ignites revolutions, the whisper that becomes a roar. It is the belief that you are not here to simply pass through life, but to leave a mark so deep, so undeniable, that generations will speak your name in awe. This belief is not arrogance. It is not the empty bravado of insecure. It is the quiet, unyielding confidence of someone who has looked into the abyss and decided to build a bridge. It is the certainty that no matter how many times you are knocked down, you will rise. That no matter how many doors are slammed in your face, you will find a window. That no matter how many times the world says no, you will say yes to yourself. You must cultivate this belief every day. You must feed it with action, water it with discipline, and protect it from the weeds of doubt and fear. The empire builder knows that belief is not a one-time decision, it is a daily battle. The world will try to erode your confidence, to chip away at your resolve, to convince you that you are not enough. But you must stand firm. You must become your own greatest ally, your own fiercest advocate. Clarity sharpens this belief into a weapon. When you know who you are and what you want, you become unstoppable. The empire builder does not drift through life hoping for the best. He charts his course with precision, setting goals that are bold, specific, and relentless. He does not settle for vague intentions or half-hearted efforts. He demands excellence from himself, and he delivers. Vision is the lens through which the empire builder sees the world. He does not see obstacles, he sees opportunities. He does not see problems, he sees possibilities. He does not see the world as it is, he sees the world as it could be. This vision is not a fantasy. It is a blueprint, a map, a call to arms. It is the force that pulls him forward, even when the path is steep and the night is dark. Purpose is the fuel that keeps the fire burning. The empire builder is not motivated by fleeting pleasures or shallow rewards. He is driven by a sense of mission, a conviction that his life has meaning. He knows that true fulfillment comes not from what you get, but from what you give. He pours himself into his work, his relationships, his dreams, not because he has to, but because he wants to. Because he knows that every act of service, every moment of sacrifice, is a brick in the empire he is building. Discipline is the mortar that holds it all together. The empire builder does not rely on willpower alone. He builds systems, routines, and habits that make success inevitable. He knows that discipline is not about deprivation. It is about liberation. It is the freedom to pursue your highest goals without being enslaved by your lowest impulses. Discipline is the daily choice to do what must be done, even when you would rather do anything else. Action is the proof of belief. The empire builder does not wait for the perfect moment, he creates it. He does not wait for inspiration, he acts and inspiration follows. He knows that every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. He celebrates progress, not perfection. He understands that momentum is built one action at a time and that the only way to fail is to stop moving. Gratitude transforms every challenge into a blessing. The empire builder is grateful for the struggle, for the setbacks, for the pain. He knows that these are the crucibles in which greatness is forged. He does not complain about the journey, he embraces it. He finds joy in the process, meaning in the hardship, and beauty in the battle. Gratitude is the lens that turns every day into a gift, every obstacle into an opportunity. Adaptability is the art of survival. The empire builder is not afraid to change course, to pivot, to start over. He knows that rigidity is the enemy of progress and that the only constant in life is change. He welcomes new ideas, new challenges, new perspectives. He is not threatened by the unknown. He is excited by it. Adaptability is the secret to staying relevant, to thriving in a world that never stops evolving. Resilience is the heart of the empire builder. He is not defined by his failures, but by his response to them. He knows that every setback is a setup for a comeback. He refuses to be broken by adversity. He uses pain as a teacher, loss as a motivator, and failure as a stepping stone. Resilience is the difference between those who quit and those who conquer. Leadership is the legacy. The empire builder leads not by force, but by example. He inspires others to believe, to act, to rise. He does not seek followers, he creates leaders. He knows that true power is not in controlling others, but in empowering them. Leadership is the mark he leaves on the world, the ripple that becomes a wave. Learning is the edge. The empire builder is never finished, never satisfied, never complacent. He is always seeking, always growing, always hungry for more. He reads, he listens, he asks questions. He learns from everyone, friends, enemies, strangers. He knows that the world is a classroom and every day is a lesson. The greatest empires are built not on arrogance, but on curiosity, not on certainty, but on the willingness to learn. And so the question remains, will you build the empire or serve in one? Will you accept the world as it is or shape it as it could be? Will you settle for comfort or reach for greatness? The world is waiting. Your moment is now. The only question that matters is, what will you build? The empire builder knows that the world is not a static place. It is a living, breathing organism, constantly shifting, always demanding more from those who dare to rise above the ordinary. He understands that every day brings a new test, a new opportunity to prove his mettle. He does not shrink from these challenges, he welcomes them. For he knows that it is only in the crucible of adversity that true greatness is revealed. He remembers the stories of those who came before him, not as distant legends, but as living proof that the impossible is possible. He studies the grit of Edison, who failed more times than most people even try. yet never surrendered to despair. He draws strength from Carnegie, who turned hardship into fuel and built an empire from the ashes of poverty. He is inspired by Disney, who transformed rejection into magic, and by Lincoln, who turned heartbreak into hope. He sees in their stories a reflection of his own journey, a reminder that every empire is built on the foundation of persistence. But persistence alone is not enough. The empire builder knows that to truly rise, he must cultivate a mind that is both sharp and flexible. He must be willing to question his own assumptions, to challenge the status quo, to see the world not as it is, but as it could be. He is not content to follow the path laid out by others. He blazes his own trail, guided by a vision that is uniquely his. This vision is not a fleeting dream. It is a living force, a fire that burns in his soul. It is the reason he wakes before dawn, the reason he works long after others have given up. It is the force that drives him to keep moving forward, even when the world seems determined to hold him back. The empire builder knows that vision without action is a fantasy, but action without vision is chaos. He marries the two, creating a synergy that propels him toward his destiny. He is not afraid to fail. In fact, he welcomes failure as a necessary part of the journey. He knows that every setback is a lesson, every mistake a stepping stone. He does not allow fear to paralyze him. Instead, he uses it as a compass, pointing him toward the areas where he must grow. He understands that the only true failure is the failure to try. Discipline is his constant companion. He does not rely on fleeting bursts of motivation. He builds habits that sustain him through the darkest nights and the longest days. He knows that discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement, the force that turns dreams into reality. He is relentless in his pursuit of excellence, never satisfied with good enough. He demands more from himself than anyone else ever could. He is a master of action. He does not wait for the perfect moment, for the stars to align, for the world to give him permission. He acts, and in doing so, he creates momentum. He understands that progress is made one step at a time, that every great journey begins with a single decision to move forward. He is not afraid to take risks, to make mistakes, to look foolish in the eyes of the timid, for he knows that fortune favors the bold. Gratitude is his secret weapon. He is grateful for every challenge, every obstacle, every setback. He knows that these are the raw materials from which greatness is forged. He does not waste time wishing things were easier. Instead, he becomes stronger. He finds joy in the struggle, meaning in the hardship, and purpose in the pain. Gratitude transforms every day into a gift, every moment into an opportunity. He is adaptable, always ready to pivot, to change course, to reinvent himself as many times as necessary. He knows that the world is in constant flux, and that those who cling to the past are left behind. He is not afraid to let go of what no longer serves him, to embrace the unknown, to step boldly into the future. Adaptability is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. A willingness to evolve, to grow, to become more than he was yesterday. Resilience is the armor that shields him from the storms of life. He is not immune to pain, to loss, to disappointment, but he refuses to be broken. He rises again and again, stronger each time. He knows that every setback is a setup for a comeback, that every defeat is an opportunity to begin again. Resilience is the difference between those who quit and those who conquer. Leadership is his legacy. He leads not by command, but by example. He inspires others to believe, to act, to rise. He does not seek followers, he creates leaders. He knows that true power is not in controlling others, but in empowering them. Leadership is the mark he leaves on the world, the ripple that becomes a wave. He is a lifelong learner, always seeking, always growing, always hungry for more. He reads, he listens, he asks questions. He learns from everyone, friends, enemies, strangers. He knows that the world is a classroom and every day is a lesson. The greatest empires are built not on arrogance but on curiosity, not on certainty but on the willingness to learn. And so the question remains, will you build the empire or serve in one? Will you accept the world as it is or shape it as it could be? Will you settle for comfort or reach for greatness? The world is waiting. Your moment is now. The only question that matters is, what will you build? The empire builder does not measure his life in years, but in impact. He knows that time is the one resource that can never be reclaimed, and so he spends it with intention, with urgency, with a sense of destiny. He does not squander his days on trivial pursuits or idle distractions. He invests his hours in the pursuit of something larger than himself, a vision that will outlast his own lifetime. He understands that legacy is not built in isolation. Every empire is the result of alliances, of partnerships, of the ability to inspire others to join in the mission. The empire builder is a master of relationships. He surrounds himself with those who challenge him, who sharpen him, who refuse to let him settle for less than his best. He knows that greatness is contagious, that the energy of the ambitious multiplies when it is shared. He seeks out mentors, allies, and even rivals, for he knows that iron sharpens iron. But he is also unafraid to walk alone when the path demands it. He does not compromise his values for the sake of approval. He does not dilute his vision to fit the expectations of the crowd. He stands firm in his convictions even when it means standing alone, for he knows that the price of greatness is often solitude and that the applause of the crowd is fleeting, but the satisfaction of living true to oneself endures. He is a student of history, drawing lessons from the rise and fall of empires, from the triumphs and tragedies of those who came before. He studies the strategies of Napoleon, the resilience of Churchill, the innovation of Jobs, the audacity of Musk. He learns from their victories and their defeats, understanding that every empire is both a warning and an inspiration. He knows that the seeds of destruction are often sown in the soil of success, and so he remains vigilant, humble, and hungry. The empire builder is not content with incremental progress. He thinks in terms of quantum leaps, of paradigm shifts, of breakthroughs that redefine what is possible. He is not afraid to disrupt, to challenge the old order, to tear down what no longer serves and build anew. He is a creator, a disruptor, a force of nature. He does not wait for permission to innovate. He seizes the initiative and leads the charge. He is relentless in his pursuit of mastery. He does not dabble or drift. He dives deep, immersing himself in his craft, honing his skills until excellence becomes second nature. He knows that the world rewards those who are the best at what they do, and so he commits to the long, often lonely road of mastery. He is patient, knowing that greatness is not achieved overnight, but through years of focused effort and unwavering dedication. He is a master of his emotions, refusing to be ruled by fear, anger, or doubt. He feels deeply, but he acts decisively. He channels his energy into productive action, transforming anxiety into anticipation, frustration into fuel, pain into power. He knows that emotional intelligence is as critical as intellect, that the ability to manage oneself is the foundation of all leadership. He is a visionary, but he is also a pragmatist. He dreams big, but he grounds those dreams in reality and strategy and execution. He sets audacious goals, but he breaks them down into actionable steps. He is not seduced by the fantasy of overnight success. He knows that every overnight success is years in the making, the result of countless small victories and invisible sacrifices. He is a steward of resources, understanding that wealth is not just to be accumulated, but to be multiplied and deployed in service of the mission. He invests wisely, spends strategically, and gives generously. He knows that money is a tool, not a master, and that true wealth is measured not by what you have, but by what you create and contribute. He is a builder of culture, shaping the values, the standards, the spirit of his organization. He knows that culture eats strategy for breakfast, that the right people with the right mindset can achieve the impossible. He leads by example, setting the tone, the pace, the expectations. He celebrates excellence, rewards initiative, and cultivates loyalty. He knows that the strength of the empire is found not in its walls, but in its people. He is a champion of innovation, always seeking the edge, the advantage, the breakthrough. He is not afraid to fail, to experiment, to push the boundaries of what is known. He encourages creativity, rewards risk-taking, and learns from every experiment. He knows that the future belongs to the bold, to those who are willing to bet on themselves and their ideas. He is a servant leader, understanding that true power is found in service. He lifts others as he climbs, sharing his knowledge, his resources, his opportunities. He mentors, coaches, and invests in the next generation of builders. He knows that the greatest empires are those that outlast their founders, that the true measure of success is the legacy you leave behind. And so, the question echoes once more: will you build the empire or serve in one? Will you be content to watch from the sidelines, or will you step onto the field and play the game of life at the highest level? Will you accept the world as it is, or will you dare to make it as it should be? The world is waiting. Your moment is now. The only question that matters is, what will you build? The empire builder knows that every day is a blank page, and he is both the author and the architect. He does not wait for inspiration to strike. He creates it through action, through movement, through the relentless pursuit of his vision. He understands that the world rewards those who show up, who do the work, who refuse to be deterred by setbacks or seduced by comfort. He is not a spectator in his own life. He is the protagonist, the driving force, the one who shapes the narrative. He is not afraid to dream bigger than anyone else. He knows that the size of your dreams determines the scale of your achievements. He does not limit himself to what is probable or practical. He aims for what is extraordinary, what is unprecedented, what will echo through the ages. He understands that the greatest risk is not in aiming too high and missing, but in aiming too low and hitting. He chooses to live at the edge of possibility, to stretch beyond what others believe is possible. He is a master of focus, able to tune out the noise and zero in on what truly matters. He does not scatter his energy on 1,000 trivial pursuits. He concentrates his efforts on the vital few, the high-leverage actions that move the needle. He knows that focus is the multiplier of effort, the force that turns ordinary work into extraordinary results. He guards his attention as his most precious asset, refusing to let distractions steal his destiny. He is unyielding in his standards. He does not tolerate mediocrity in himself or in those around him. He demands excellence not as an act, but as a habit, a way of being. He knows that the world does not remember the average, the adequate, the almost. It remembers the exceptional, the outstanding, the unforgettable. He holds himself to a higher standard, not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. He is a master of time, understanding that every minute wasted is a minute lost forever. He plans his days with intention, prioritizing the important over the urgent, the meaningful over the mundane. He knows that time is the great equalizer. Everyone has the same 24 hours, but not everyone uses them the same way. He invests his time in building and learning and growing and serving. He refuses to let the days slip by unnoticed, unmarked. He is a relentless learner, always seeking to expand his mind, to deepen his understanding, to sharpen his skills. He reads voraciously, listens intently, asks questions fearlessly. He knows that the world is changing faster than ever, and that the only way to stay ahead is to keep learning, to keep evolving, to keep growing. He is humble enough to admit what he does not know, and bold enough to seek out the answer. He is a master of resilience, able to absorb the blows of life and keep moving forward. He does not crumble in the face of adversity. He does not retreat when the going gets tough. He stands tall, shoulders squared, eyes fixed on the horizon. He knows that every setback is temporary, every defeat a lesson, every failure a stepping stone. He refuses to be defined by his circumstances. He defines himself by his response to them. He is a builder of people, understanding that no empire is built alone. He invests in others, lifts them up, helps them see the greatness within themselves. He knows that leadership is not about titles or positions, but about influence, about impact, about the ability to inspire others to become more than they ever thought possible. He leads with vision, with integrity, with courage. He is a beacon of hope, a source of strength, a catalyst for change. He is a master of gratitude, able to find the silver lining in every cloud, the lesson in every loss, the opportunity in every obstacle. He does not take his blessings for granted. He counts them, cherishes them, multiplies them through his action. He knows that gratitude is the foundation of abundance, the wellspring of joy, the secret to lasting fulfillment. He is a champion of adaptability, able to pivot, to adjust, to reinvent himself as the world changes. He is not attached to the past, not shackled by old beliefs or outdated strategies. He is always looking forward, always seeking the next edge, the next breakthrough, the next opportunity. He knows that survival belongs not to the strongest or the smartest, but to those most willing to adapt. He is a steward of his resources, managing his wealth, his energy, his relationships with wisdom and care. He knows that every resource is a tool, a means to an end, a way to advance the mission. He invests wisely, spends strategically, gives generously. He is not a hoarder, but a multiplier, always seeking to create more value, more impact, more legacy. He is a creator of culture, shaping the environment around him with his values, his standards, his example. He knows that culture is the invisible hand that guides behavior, that shapes outcomes, that determines the fate of the empire. He builds a culture of excellence, of accountability, of relentless pursuit. He celebrates the wins, learns from the losses, and never stops raising the bar. And so the question resounds louder than ever: will you build the empire or serve in one? Will you be content to watch others make history? Or will you step into the arena and claim your place among the builders, the dreamers, the doers? The world is waiting. Your moment is now. The only question that matters is, what will you build? The empire builder knows that the journey is not a straight line. It is a winding road filled with detours, dead ends, and unexpected turns. He does not curse the obstacles. He welcomes them as the proving grounds of his character. He understands that adversity is not the enemy. It is the crucible in which his resolve is tested and strengthened. Every challenge is a question: how badly do you want it? And every time he answers with action. He is not seduced by shortcuts or the promise of easy victories. He knows that anything worth building demands patience, persistence, and a willingness to endure the long, lonely hours when no one is watching and no one is cheering. He is willing to do the work that others avoid, to make the sacrifices that others refuse, to pay the price that greatness demands. He knows that the foundation of every empire is laid in the dark, in the quiet, in the moments when quitting would be easier than continuing. He is a master of self-awareness, always examining his motives, his habits, his beliefs. He is not afraid to confront his weaknesses, to admit his mistakes, to seek out the truth even when it is uncomfortable. He knows that the greatest enemy is not the world outside, but the doubts and fears within. He faces them head on, refusing to let them dictate his destiny. He is honest with himself, holding himself to the highest standard, never allowing excuses to take root. He is a relentless optimist, able to see the possibility in every problem, the opportunity in every obstacle. He does not deny reality, but he refuses to be defined by it. He knows that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams, who are willing to fight for a better tomorrow, who refuse to settle for the status quo. He is a beacon of hope in a world that too often chooses cynicism over courage. He is a master of communication, able to articulate his vision with clarity, passion, and conviction. He knows that words are powerful, that they can inspire action, ignite movements, and change the course of history. He speaks with authority, but he also listens with humility. He seeks to understand before he seeks to be understood, knowing that true influence is built on trust, respect, and empathy. He is a builder of trust, understanding that every relationship is a foundation stone in the empire. He keeps his word, honors his commitments, and acts with integrity even when it is inconvenient. He knows that trust is earned in inches and lost in miles, that reputation is built over a lifetime and destroyed in a moment. He guards his character as his most valuable asset, knowing that it is the bedrock upon which everything else is built. He is a master of decision, able to make tough choices with speed and confidence. He does not hesitate, does not second guess, does not allow fear to paralyze him. He gathers the facts, weighs the options, and then acts. He knows that indecision is the enemy of progress, that the cost of inaction is always greater than the risk of making a mistake. He is willing to be wrong, willing to fail, willing to learn, for he knows that every decision, right or wrong, moves him closer to his goal. He is a champion of accountability, taking full responsibility for his actions, his results, his life. He does not blame others, does not make excuses, does not hide from the consequences of his choices. He owns his failures as fully as his successes, knowing that accountability is the price of freedom. He holds himself to the highest standard, demanding more from himself than anyone else ever could. He is a master of energy, managing his physical, mental, and emotional resources with discipline and care. He knows that energy is the fuel of achievement, that without it, even the greatest vision will wither and die. He invests in his health, his mindset, his spirit. He rests when needed, pushes when required, and always seeks to operate at his peak. He knows that the empire is only as strong as its builder. He is a relentless innovator, always seeking new ways to solve old problems, new strategies to achieve timeless goals. He is not afraid to challenge convention, to question the rules, to break the mold. He knows that the world belongs to those who are willing to think differently, to act boldly, to risk failure in pursuit of greatness. He is a pioneer, a trailblazer, a creator of the future. He is a master of celebration, taking time to honor the milestones, the victories, the progress made. He knows that celebration fuels motivation, that it reminds him and his team of how far they have come and how much more is possible. He celebrates not just the big wins, but the small steps, the daily disciplines, the quiet acts of courage that build the empire brick by brick. And so the question persists, echoing through every moment, every decision, every heartbeat. Will you build the empire or serve in one? Will you rise to the challenge or shrink from the call? Will you leave your mark on the world or let the world leave its mark on you? The world is waiting. Your moment is now. The only question that matters is, what will you build? The empire builder stands at the summit, not as a conqueror of others, but as a master of himself. He looks back on the path he has carved through storms and silence, through triumph and trial, and he knows that every scar is a badge of honor, every lesson a stone in the foundation of his legacy. He understands now more than ever that the true empire is not measured in gold or glory, but in the lives touched, the dreams awakened, the courage kindled in the hearts of those who dared to follow. He knows that the world will always need builders, those who see beyond the horizon, who refuse to accept the limits imposed by fear, who rise each day with the conviction that greatness is not a gift but a choice. He knows that the call to build is not a whisper but a thunderclap, shaking the soul awake, demanding action, demanding sacrifice, demanding everything. And he answers that call not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. He remembers the faces of those who doubted, the voices that said it couldn't be done, the laughter that echoed in the halls of mediocrity. He thanks them, for they were the whetstone that sharpened his resolve, the darkness that made his light burn brighter. He knows that every empire is born in the crucible of resistance, that every dream worth having is guarded by dragons of doubt. But he also knows that the only way to slay those dragons is to move forward, sword in hand, heart on fire. He stands now not alone, but surrounded by those who have caught his vision, who have been inspired by his example, who have chosen to build alongside him. He sees in their eyes the same hunger, the same hope, the same unbreakable spirit. He knows that the true measure of a leader is not in the number of followers, but in the number of leaders he creates. He has become the spark that ignites 1,000 flames, the architect of a future that will outlast his own days. He understands that the work is never finished, that every summit reveals a new peak, every victory a new challenge. He welcomes this, for he knows that the journey is the reward, that the process of building is itself the greatest gift. He is not afraid of the unknown, for he has learned to trust himself, to trust the process, to trust that every step forward is a step toward destiny. He is grateful not for the ease of the path, but for the strength it has given him. Not for the absence of struggle, but for the wisdom it has carved into his soul. He knows that gratitude is the foundation of abundance, that every breath is a blessing, every moment an opportunity to build, to serve, to lead. He is adaptable, ready to pivot, to reinvent, to rise from the ashes of defeat with new ideas, new energy, new resolve. He knows that the world belongs to those who are willing to change, to grow, to become more than they were yesterday. He is not shackled by the past, but propelled by the promise of the future. He is resilient, unbreakable, unstoppable. He has learned that pain is temporary, but pride is forever. That every fall is a chance to rise higher, every loss a lesson in disguise. He wears his failures as armor, his scars as symbols of battles fought and won. He is a leader, not by decree, but by example. He lifts others as he climbs, shares his wisdom, his resources, his vision. He knows that the greatest empires are those that empower others to build, to dream, to lead. He is a mentor, a guide, a beacon in the darkness. He is a learner, forever curious, forever humble, forever hungry for more. He knows that the world is vast, that knowledge is infinite, that the journey of growth never ends. He seeks out new ideas, new perspectives, new challenges, knowing that every lesson learned is a tool for building something greater. And so, as the sun sets on another day, the empire builder stands tall, unbowed, unbroken, unafraid. He knows that the world will remember not those who played it safe, but those who dared to build. Not those who waited for permission, but those who seized the moment. Not those who served in silence, but those who led with vision, with courage, with heart. The choice is yours. The world is waiting. The page is blank. The tools are in your hands. Will you build the empire or serve in one? Will you accept the world as it is or shape it as it could be? Will you settle for comfort or reach for greatness? The time for hesitation is over. The time for action is now. Rise, Build, lead, become the architect of your destiny, become the builder of your empire. For in the end, history remembers only two kinds of people, those who built the empire and those who served in one. Which will you be?